It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Well, this is it. We've been waiting all year. We started with 16 middle schools. We're down to the final 2. Which of these 2 will be county champ, maybe for the first time ever? Let's meet today's teams. First, from Martin Luther King Middle School, would you welcome to the program, please, Martin McCall, Trevor Bateman, and Sabrina Pillai. And from Robert Goddard Montessori, here are Nathaniel Parker Feng, Ella Childress, and Mason Vosmick. Now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, our game board reflects question difficulty with easier questions to the left, worth 5 and 10 points. Tougher ones, 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. Never do we penalize teams for incorrect answers. And at the end of the 2 rounds today, one of these 2 talented, good-looking teams will come back and be the champion of this year's Science Bowl here in the middle school competition. So we have a lot at stake today. Let's go over and make sure everything is working properly. Trevor, would you try your buzzer? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Martin, and to Sabrina and Ella. How about the green teams? Ready and raring to go over there, too. Good luck to you and to Mason and to Nathaniel. And just a hearty congratulations, guys. You've made it this far. I know you're worn out. It's been a long journey. You win just by being here. And we have medals for you today testifying to that fact. May the better team win. We go alphabetically M before R. So Martin Luther King and Trevor, let's play this championship bowl.
Let's get physical for 15 points.
Let's get physical for 15 points to start our game out. Teams, back in 1811, there was an earthquake, a severe earthquake in New Madrid, Missouri. There was a weak spot beneath that city. So it was nothing that the city did that caused the earthquake. It was all Mother Nature's what? Martin
Fault.
Luther King?
Fault.
There was a fault line beneath the city. Yes, sir. Good go.
Let's get physical for 20 points.
Let's get physical for 20. All right, teams. The only 2 chemical elements that are liquid at room temperature are these.
Mercury and gallium.
Trevor.
Mercury and gallium.
No. Good try. The only 2 chemical elements that are liquid at room temperature. Mercury and bromine. Mercury and bromine was the other. Good try. Go again, red.
Let's get physical for 25.
That's the physical for?
25.
25. Big one in that category, teams. The limits of human vision can be seen if you go out at night and there is a fuzzy dot way far in the heavens, part of the closest galaxy to our Milky Way galaxy. Green.
The Andromeda Galaxy.
You got that right. Andromeda is correct. Thank you, Nathaniel. Go.
Zoo Parade for 5.
5 points. Teams, normally this mammal looks like a pincushion, but Sonic has no spikes. Robert Goddard.
Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah. Number 1 at the box office for three weeks in a row. Go green.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, the fairy tale written by Hans Christian Andersen ended up with one of these birds because one of its eggs was put into a duck's nest. Martin Luther King.
A swan.
A swan, yeah. The ugly duckling became the swan. It was like, how the heck? Did some kind of hybridization go on? No, an egg got into the wrong nest there. Go red. Score 75 to 80. Go red.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams DOA can mean dead on arrival or dead or alive, but in the context of a cabinet department that takes care of farmers, it stands for what?
Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agriculture is correct. Yes, sir.
Green things for 20.
Green things, 20 points. All right, teams. Cactus and succulents are succulents that can survive with very little water. So can pineapples, which was a surprise to me. All of those plants are known as xerophytes. Spell xerophytes. Who will be my speller at the King team? Trevor, say the word for me, please.
Xerophytes.
Yes, sir.
Xerophytes.
It was a very valiant effort. Good try. Robert Goddard, can you spell these plants that can survive in arid conditions? Xerophytes. Who's my speller?
Nathan.
All right, Nathaniel, say it for me, please.
Xerophytes.
Yes, sir.
Xerophytes.
It was an X instead of a Z. Absolutely right. Go, Robert Goddard. Nice try, Trevor.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade, 15 points. All right, teams. Animals like moose and deer and caribou, they shed their antlers every year. The adjective describing that is the same one we use for our baby teeth. Trevor. What do you want to tell me?
Molting.
Not molting. Robert Goddard, the adjective describing antlers that are shed each year is the same adjective we use to describe our baby teeth and trees that lose their leaves every fall.
I know this one.
Deciduous.
Deciduous is right. Absolutely right. They are deciduous antlers. Go green. 10-point lead.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points is a visual question. Look please at the monitor in the studio. This Dimetrodon is not a dinosaur. It is a reptile that preceded the dinosaurs. I will give you 20 points if you can give me 2 functions of that sail. 2 functions of that sail. Goddard, talk among yourselves in case I need to come to you. Trevor, 2 reasons why that sail is useful to that reptile.
To ward off predators and to keep cool.
Ward off predators and to keep cool. Yes, indeed. Absolutely right. Temperature control, defense, also attraction of mates or even communication. Go red. 5 points behind, Trevor.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25. Big one in that category. Teams is another spelling question. Entomophagy is the practice of people that eat these and spell entomophagy. What do they eat, Trevor?
They eat insects.
Yes, they're bug eaters. And the word, we'll ignore that. This will be the last question before our break. We need you to spell entomophagy.
Entomophagy.
It was. They already had a chance over there, did it?
No, we didn't.
Okay. All right. Robert Goddard.
I will spell
Entomophagy. We have learned already what it is. Now we need someone to spell it correctly. Who can do that?
Nathan.
Okay, Nathaniel, say it for me, please.
Entomophagy.
Okay, go ahead.
Entomophagy.
Entomophagy. Not quite. So we go to the break with almost a tie score. Martin Luther King at 110, Robert Goddard at 115. Our championship match will be back in 1 moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. There is no doubt this is a championship match. 6 outstanding young people. They have been here throughout the year, and they're vying for the chance to become county champ. If it happens for Martin Luther King, it will be their 6th championship, making them one of the winningest schools ever, just below Kenmore. And if Robert Goddard is our winner, it will be their 1st ever championship in our 34 years here of Science Bowl history. You know, today's winner, the champion, will be taking home a medal. We also have medals for the runner-ups. A gold medal for the championship team and all of the members and alternates, and a silver medal will be going to our runner-up team and alternates. The winning school will take home a plaque testifying to the fact that they were the champs in 2019 and 2020. And we also have Audubon field guides for both our champs and our runners-up today. Let's go over and find out about our schools. Martin Luther King, tell us about a great school. Who's your principal, Trevor?
Our principal is Dr. Rotunda Floyd Cooper.
Absolutely. A great principal, so supportive of this team here. And alternates, give us their first names if you would.
Kalima and Kevin.
They're down there yelling those answers from room 206. We can't hear them up here, but I know they're yelling them out. Important part of this team. And the wonderful sponsor.
It's Miss Elizabeth Butler.
Miss Butler, yes. Elizabeth has been with us practically all our 30-plus years here and is responsible for many county championships. Elizabeth, thank you for all that you do. And Martin Luther King, it's a special school. I know you had a little speech you read last time, Trevor. What's the favorite thing if you had to pick one?
I'd say it's all the after-school programs and clubs we have. It's very diverse, and we get to experience a lot of different fields.
Give me an example of a couple after-school activities.
We have Science Bowl, Destination Imagination, jazz band,
Those are
art
great.
club.
Yeah, Sabrina's helping you out there. Sabrina, you can weigh in too. I know DI you've told me about, and you've got some musicians up there as well. Trevor, do you play a musical instrument?
Yes, I play the bass clarinet.
Bass clarinet, yes. I did too at one time. It's a great instrument, that and the oboe. And someday you hope to?
I hope to be a microbiologist that specializes in paleontology.
Paleontology, yes. Well, you've got a good head on your shoulders. And I know we've had you here for a number of years. You were here in Bond Mill, and you're just a wonderful player. And it's been an honor having you here, no matter what happens, because you're an 8th grader, aren't you?
Yep.
So you'll be moving on from us. Sabrina, tell us about yourself. You want to be a chemical engineer, you told me earlier.
Yep.
What inspired that?
I mean, I've always had a love for engineering and chemistry, so it only made sense, I guess.
It just all fell into place.
Yeah.
And you're a musician, are you not?
I played piano.
Piano, yeah. How long?
6 years?
6 years? Yeah. Do you give recitals ever?
I mean, I used to, not
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, what do you like about this game?
I really like it. You get to show off your knowledge. It's my first year, but I really like it.
And I like what you said. You're showing off your knowledge. I know a lot of young people come here and say they want to learn things, and we hope they do, but we want to know what you know. And you're giving it back in grand style here today. Martin, nice to, how you doing over there?
Good.
It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Yes.
You're a hiker, and what else do you do in your spare time?
I do this after-school club called Lego Robotics, where we had to build a robot and program it, my team, and then we had to make it do several challenges, such as pushing buildings into like these circles.
Wow. Have you always been interested in robotics?
I've been more interested, I think, in engineering. That's one of my job. That might be something I'd want to be when I grow up.
Absolutely. I can see you doing that. I like the intensity that you bring here. You're so earnest when you play this game. What do you like about the game?
I like it because it's kind of like Jeopardy, and it's cool to answer the questions and go up against other schools to see how much you know.
That's going on the website, Martin. It's like Jeopardy, and it's cool. I like that. You're going to be my PR agent. Let's go over to Robert Goddard. Ella, tell us about Robert Goddard.
Robert Goddard is a Montessori school, so we have a lot of interactive lessons. We get to walk around the classroom. Yeah.
And you've got compartmentalized. It's a smaller classes. And I know Robert Goddard does a wonderful international festival every year. I've been over there, and I remember one year you devoted to Egypt, and one to you had all kinds of representations there. Tell me about what you want to do someday.
I'm not really sure what I want to do one day. Maybe I'll go into engineering. Definitely something in the STEM field.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll even host Science Bowl one day.
That's right. I know she told me that last time. She wants to do this job, and she could. She's got the personality, she's got the smarts, and I like you've got a presence. You've got poise, and you could do this wonderfully. Before I forget, who are the coaches of your team, Ella?
Miss Dupre and Miss Powell.
Wonderful. And the principal at Robert Goddard?
Miss Womack.
Miss Womack, yes. And you had some alternates, did you not? Who are they?
Grayson and Braden.
Wonderful. They'll be out in a few moments' time here. And Nathaniel, I have to ask you, I know you misplaced that one letter there, but you are an ace speller. Have you always been a good speller?
Actually, yes.
You actually, yeah, say, listen, don't be humble about that. That's a real skill there. Are you going to be in the spelling bee this year?
Probably not. I like spelling, but I'm not like a competitive speller.
Not a competitive speller. Tell me about your plans. What do you want to do?
I want to grow up and what the heck? I want to grow up and build spaceships for NASA because I've always had a knack for, drawing spaceships and stuff. And I'd like to move that onto a real job because that'd be fun.
Well, you seem to be a very talented person, and I like what you first said. I'm going to grow up. Yeah, enjoy your childhood. You know, this is the time you don't get back, and try all kinds of things. Try Science Bowl, try the Geography Bee, try out for the baseball team. Do it all to see where you fit best in this world, and you're doing that. Mason, nice to have you here. You were here before when you were in elementary school, and now you're back here in middle school.
Yep.
What do you like about the show, Mason?
I just like that there's so many different categories. Well, not that many. There's only 6, but they all have different lots of different aspects. So I think I like Zoo Parade and Science Potpourri. But like other people on the team might be better at body systems or let's get physical.
Absolutely. Everybody comes here with certain strengths, you know, and if you're mathematical, you know, there's a category for you, and if you love animals, Zoo Parade is made for you. What do you want to do someday, Mason?
I might become a paleontologist or a zoologist or a chef or an artist or
You're going to be busy. You're going to be trying to balance all those balls at one time. I know you can do it. Let's get back to the game. All right. Close game, 110 to 115. Last correct answer came from Trevor. Lots of points to give away. All right, young man, let's go.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. The big one in that category. Teams, oceanic bacteria are actually able to photosynthesize. They can produce oxygen just like land plants. But instead of using chlorophyll as the photopigment, they have a separate pigment that has the same name as the photosensitive layer at the back of your eye. Martin Luther King.
The retina?
The retina, yeah, it's called retinol. Retinol, that's the name of that photopigment that they use to undergo photosynthesis. Go red.
Science Potpourri for 15. Science Potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. All right, teams. We all have iPads and smartphones. We're always recharging them. Sometimes you can use a USB cord that has a lot of separate cords coming off one, and that USB cord is named for what cephalopod that has 10, Robert Goddard?
Squid.
A squid. They call it a USB squid. Absolutely right. Good. Go. God bless you. Go. Green.
Dateline Science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio if you would, please. Look at Lucy. Founded in 1974, one of the earliest human skeletons ever found by Donald Johanson, who by profession was what kind of scientist? Robert Goddard.
An anthropologist.
Not an anthropologist. Martin Luther King. Donald Johanson was what kind of scientist?
An anatomist.
He was a paleontologist. I thought you were going to get that one, Trevor. Go green. 5 points behind Ella.
Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline Science for 5 points. Teams, don't scratch, don't pick, don't bite to keep from getting, yes, Trevor.
Pastor Sabrina.
Sabrina?
Itch.
No, not itch. Robert Goddard, don't bite, don't scratch, don't pinch. If you want to avoid getting coronavirus, don't touch your what? Robert Goddard?
Your face.
Your face. That's it. Good. Go green.
Dateline Science for 15.
Dateline Science for 15 points. Team's multiple choice question. Was it Ivan Pavlov, Dmitry Mendeleev, or Yuri Gagarin who first went into space? King.
Yuri Gagarin.
That's right. Indeed. Died at age 34 in, of all things, an airplane accident. Go red.
Science Potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, strange but true. If we got too close to a black hole, we would be sucked inside. We would be torn apart in a process that is, yes, Robert Goddard.
Spaghettification.
It is spaghettification. Absolutely right. That is so weird that just about everybody has heard of it. Go green.
Dateline Science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Check on the score. 155 Goddard, 150 Martin Luther King. Dateline for 20. Teams, recently at the Columbus Zoo, something happened that had never happened before. Baby cheetahs were born via IVF. F stands for, it's in vitro what? F stands for what, Trevor?
In laboratory.
Robert Goddard, these baby cheetah cubs, first time ever born via IVF, in vitro what?
Fertilization.
Fertilization, yes indeed. Good, go, green.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline science for 25 points. Teams, there is a gene editing tool called CRISPR, C-R-I-S-P-R, and it is being used to even reverse blindness. They are trying to do that. I will give you 25 points if you can tell me what the P stands for in that acronym CRISPR. It is the same word that is used to describe a word that is spelled the same backwards as forwards. Martin Luther King.
Palindrome.
Palindrome, yes, it stands for palindromic. Go red.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. All right, teams, you know, you can tell whether or not you have the flu or COVID-19. Yes, Trevor.
Through a high fever.
Not a high fever. Good try, Robert Goddard. The difference between the two is if you have COVID-19 is that you are short of what?
Breath.
Breath. Yes, good. Green.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points, teams. There are a lot of happy babies out there and happy parents because these now have a connection to a cell phone once they get wet. Martin Luther King. Robert Goddard. These get wet. Happy babies, happy parents. When these get wet, they send a signal to your cell phone.
Diapers.
Diapers. Go green.
Potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points, teams. Samuel Massey, for whom one of our schools is named, was the first African American to teach at the U.S. Naval Academy. He also worked on the Manhattan Project that developed
Nuclear bombs. Nuclear bombs.
Nuclear bombs, the atomic bomb. Yes, sir. Good, go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Physical for 10 points, teams. You know, there is blind dating, online dating, double dating, but if you're trying to find out the age of a long deceased organic, yes?
Carbon dating.
Carbon dating, that's what I want to hear. Thank you, Mason. Go, Ella.
Clever pun.
Let's get physical for 5.
Physical for 5 points. Teams, the question is as follows. You know, there are games out there like Gravity Maze and games like where you have something fall, Mousetrap, where one event causes something else to happen, Martin Luther King.
A Rube Goldberg machine.
It is a Rube Goldberg machine, but what I want to know, Robert Goddard, is what kind of reaction when one thing causes another thing causes another thing.
Chain reaction.
Chain reaction, that's what I want. Thank you, Trevor. Sorry about that. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, before you came to Science Bowl today, if you wanted a good luck charm, you could have gone out in the backyard and picked a quadra.
Four-leaf clover.
Four-leaf clover. Quadrifolium it is. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Martin. Go, Trevor.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, there are a lot of forests in the world. There's the Amazon rainforest. There are boreal forests in northern Canada. But underwater, this plant, yes, Robert Goddard.
Kelp forest.
Kelp forest, absolutely right. Good. Go, Goddard.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, it is not true that you will develop arthritis if you keep cracking your what?
Knuckles.
King.
Knuckles.
Knuckles is right. Yes, sir. Good, red, go.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, your lungs are divided into lobes, your brain into hemispheres, and your heart, Martin Luther King.
Chambers.
Is it chambers? That's right. Right and left. Go, King. Score check. Martin Luther King, 225. Goddard, 220. Advantage, red. Go.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, in the winter, when your hands and your feet get very cold, it's because blood vessels get smaller. What word also describes getting smaller, Trevor?
Contracting.
Judges? Please come up with a consensus over there. All right, we're going to give that to you. Contracting or constricting. Good, go.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, a young man suffering from leukemia recently asked his parents to consult the registry for this substance found inside bones. King?
Bone marrow.
Bone marrow registry, that's correct. Last question of the game. Body systems for 25 points. Let's look at that score. It's 235 for King, 235, 240 for Goddard. Judges, would you please authenticate that score before we ask this last question? Okay. Oh, that is a change. All right, so it's 255 to 220, correct? All right. Last question of the game is body systems for 25 points. If you have an upset stomach, you can take Pepto-Bismol. Bismol comes from the chemical element bismuth, and Pepto comes from this enzyme found in the stomach that helps to digest food. Name it for 25 points, King.
Peptin.
Say it again.
Peptin. Or peptin.
Say it again.
Peptum.
No, no. Robert Goddard, can you give me the name of that enzyme that is derived from the name Pepto in Pepto-Bismol?
Pepton?
It's pepsin. Pepsin. We've come to the end of our game, and it looks like King is our winner. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Well, a fitting conclusion to our 34th year of competition. It was a well-fought competition, and all of our players did extremely well. We are proud of them. They are winners in my eyes, and I know yours too. Our final tally today is Robert Goddard 215, Martin Luther King 255. So for the 6th time, our champ this year, Martin Luther King. Martin and Trevor and Sabrina, congratulations, and Kevin and Kalima up there. Also, Miss Butler, thank you so much for all that you do, and hopefully we'll be back next year. Let's have a round of applause for that Robert Goddard team. Nathaniel and Ella and Mason and Grayson and Braden, Miss Dupre and Miss Powell, congratulations. You had never made it this far in our competition, and we were so happy to have you here today. And in a few years' time, Ella will be up here, and she will make sure Robert Goddard wins that year. Thank you all for joining us with Science Bowl. We still have the elementary finals coming up. I hope you'll stay tuned for those as well. Until then, I'm Dave Zera. Bye-bye.